guys, it's your girl Simone and welcome back to my channel. So as you guys could tell by the title, it is a story time, a crazy one too. So before we get started, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to my channel, give your girl a thumbs up, and yes, let's get into this story. So yes, as y'all can see by the title, the boy was a bum. So, but I'm gonna just give y'all a little rundown how I even knew him, and yeah. So this story it's like from a long time ago, back in like when I was like 18, 19. So it's like 2013, 2014-ish, probably, yeah, 2014 probably. So anyway, so I knew this. So back when I was like 18, 19, me and my homegirls, we used to always just hang out like in, well, I'm not a gangbanger, so not my hood, but in a hood. So with our friends, like our homies and stuff like that. So we always used to hang out over here or whatever. So if we wasn't in like this certain area, then 9 times out of 10 we'll be at the park. So today, me and the homegirl, that day, me and the homegirl, we went to the park to go find everybody, like where everybody at. So when we get there, it was nobody really there. It was just like the OGs, big homies and stuff like that. And this one boy, the boy, he wasn't from there, but he used to always be over there, like, because he knew them too. So, but every time we see him, he'd always be on some like standoffish, stuck up type of stuff like that. So it'd always be high and by with him. Like I never really even spoke to him like that. So today he like, oh, where everybody at? So I'm like, I don't know. So we finna end up leaving in a little bit. So he was just like, oh, can I come chill with y'all? So it was like, whatever. So he hops in my car, he get in the back seat, he just chilling, smoking, whatever, boom, boom, boom. Anytime when I see him, like, cause mind you, I said he be acting stuck up and standoffish. He always have a car, always have, you know. So this day he wasn't in no car, so he's like, so when we was finna leave, I'm like, I'm about to drop the homegirl off because she has something to do. He was like, can you give me a ride home? So I'm like, fine. So I dropped the homegirl off and I'm giving him a ride home or whatever. So when I gave him a ride home, I took him like to the east side or whatever. He like, but the whole car ride, we talking, laughing and stuff like that. It's just vibes, you know. So he like, Simone, can I get your number? So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So I gave him my number. After that day, we was just like texting and stuff like that. And I had not seen him again. I had not seen him again till later, like 2 weeks later, I ended up seeing him again. So we talking and texting and stuff. And he was trying to get me to like pull up on him and stuff like that. But I didn't want to because I'm always with my homegirls. So, and I didn't want nobody to know I was like texting him and stuff like that because it's like, I'm a Scorpio. Y'all know like Scorpios, we're not secretive, but we just don't want everybody in our business. So yeah, so I didn't want everybody in my business. So we texting and stuff. 2 weeks go by, whatever. At this time, it's another hood day. So me and my friends is going, of course, and our homies and stuff. And he was cool with that hood too, so he was going. So I ended up seeing him at the hood day. Mind you, when I see him at the hood day, he's being his kind of weird standoffish self again. And I'm just like, fine with me, because I don't want nobody to thinking like, oh, why him and her? And let's give him a name, actually, so I can stop saying him. We're going to call him Pathetic, okay? So, no. Okay, yeah. We're going to call him Pathetic. So, that was fine with me that Pathetic was being weird, because I'm just like, I don't want people to know that we was like texting and stuff. Anyway, so, Pathetic being like standoffish. And plus, I'm thinking maybe because he was like just lit. He was off Molly Tron, and you already know what time it is. So yeah, after the hood day, when it was time to leave, mind you, at this time it's time to leave, whatever. And I didn't drive. We rode with the homegirl's friend. So we see him in the parking lot. He being extra. He in the car. So I'm like, okay, thinking like he got his car back, I guess. So he being extra, trying to skirt off, do donuts and shit like that. Boom. So later that night, probably like it was like 3 in the morning, he hit me up and he like, you up? So I'm like, yeah, I'm up. I couldn't sleep, like, because I was drunk, but my head was spinning. I didn't want to go sleep, so I was just letting it wear off. So he hit me like, you up? So I'm like, yeah, whatever. So he comes, he like, can I pull up or whatever? So I'm like, sure, like, I don't mind. So he ended up pulling up. Mind you, he's like, I'm here. So when he's like, I'm here, I start to come outside because, you know, like, you're not about to come in the house. Like, we finna kick it in the car. Mind you, I'm coming out the door. I see his car is driving off without him. He's outside of the car and his car is driving off. So I'm like, what the fuck? So we standing there and stuff. I didn't even like say nothing about it. So we standing there. He like, oh, I don't know this area. Like, I don't feel comfortable just standing outside. Like, can we go in? So I'm like, nah, hold on. I'm gonna go get my car keys and we could chill in my car. So we chilling in my car in the driveway or whatever. And we just like talking, vibing, chilling and stuff like that. Like laughing and talking, whatever. And then like at this point he was trying to do the most, and it was kind of like irritating me, which I should have already known what was up, because again, he was off that Molly Tron, and it was like 3 in the morning. He said you up, and you should already know what time it is when somebody say you up, but I wasn't on that type of timing. Again, I was really just bored and really didn't even want to turn it in that early anyway. So we just really just talking and vibing and stuff, and it's crazy because like how things work out. Like, so when we was kicking it in my car in the driveway, some lady, I ain't even gonna go into details about this whole story, but some weird stuff happened, and it's like 3 in the morning. This random lady tried to walk inside of my house, mind you, because I'm sitting in the driveway. I didn't think to lock the door, so I had to. I'm happy that I wasn't on the type of timing he was, because I would never even probably notice this. So I had to hop up and like, what are you doing? Like, you're trying to just walk in the house, and she crying like, I need an ambulance. But it was just a whole big thing, so that really just threw off everything. So after I called her an ambulance and got rid of her, I'm like, I'm just ready to go to sleep. Like, it's too much going on, like, you know. So he like, oh damn, can you he like, damn, can I stay tonight? I'm like, no. So he like, can you give me a ride? Like, can you ride? He like, I think my auntie might let me stay at her house. So at this point I'm like irritated, because I'm like, what do you mean you think? Like, so I'm like, all right, fine. So he like, yeah, because my auntie don't like me to come in the house at a certain time. Like, she like for it to be locked down at a certain time. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, if you knew you couldn't be walking in and out her house any time of the night, why was you out all night? Where was you gonna sleep? Like, did you think that I was just gonna let you, like, or somebody? I don't know. So we get to the auntie house. He like, yeah, because she liked to lock her house up. So I drive to his auntie house. She lived in Inglewood, whatever. So I drive to his auntie house. I pull up to this house. This house is like the booming trap house. Like, this house is lit. It is lit. It's 3 in the morning, but it's people in and out the house, and they look questionable. That's why I said trap house. Like, they look like they was off some shit. So they in and out the house. It's somebody sitting on the porch. People coming in and out. Like, it's just lit. So I'm confused, right? He like, dang, I'm gonna have to go through the window, and I'm looking like, that's the house, right? Like, that's the house. He like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through the window. She not answering. Mind you, at this point I'm so confused, because I'm like, why can't you just walk through the front door like everybody else? So I'm like, all right, I'm trying to make sure he get in there safely, whatever. So I'm watching him go to the side of the house and climb through the damn window. That should have been a red flag for me, right? But it really wasn't, because, you know, I'm thinking like, probably that Molly Tron is getting to his head and he just doing some dumb shit, you know. But I should have paid attention to that, but I didn't. So boom, fast forward, next day. Next day was like the next night, and again he hit me up at nighttime. And it's like, when you 18, 19, you don't really care too much, but that should be a red flag too. Somebody only wants to see you at night. But I didn't think nothing of it, no way, because again, he was a gangbanger. So I'm thinking maybe you doing like your hood duties throughout the day, you know. So I wasn't really tripping, you know. Maybe, you know, hood task, you have your tasks to do for the day, I'm guessing. So I wasn't really tripping or whatever. So he hit me up at night like, let's kick it, whatever. So I'm like, okay, where you at? He like, I'm at my auntie house. So then I'm just thinking like, he gonna have to climb through another window, because if you don't get back in time, you're not coming to my house. But yeah, so I pick him up. Mind you, this time he's like, pull to the corner, because he told me like, pull to the corner because it's a like some reason. So I'm like, all right. So I wasn't sure what corner he meant, like the corner before I get to the house or the corner after. So I just went to the corner after the house. I passed by the house, still trap house, booming ass house. This time it's probably like 10 o'clock at night. So I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for him at the corner, and I pay attention to my surroundings, because I'm just like that type of person. Like, I just like to pay attention to my surroundings. I be paranoid and shit. So I noticed somebody walking up to my car with a black hoodie on, and they hands in their hoodie, and I'm just like, what the fuck? At this point, I was about to pull off, because your girl ain't got time. And mind you, at this time, the type of car I had, my car kind of could have been a little questionable, and my tent was real dark. So I didn't know if it was somebody thinking like, who is this or whatever. So I didn't want no problems. But then I noticed it was pathetic. So I'm like, looking like, what the fuck, why is he walking up on the car like that? In my head, I'm thinking, oh my god, pathetic is finna have me take him to go hit a lick. Like, oh my god. So he gets to the car and he's smiling. He get in the car, he like, hey, he get in, everything all good. Take his hoodie off, and put on a whole different sweater. He looks normal. He looks like he's finna hang out with somebody, and not like he's finna go do some crazy shit. So I was just like, I didn't even say nothing of that. I just was like, whatever. But y'all, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. So I'm like, yeah, all right. So what, you wanna kick it right here in the car? Like, I'm like, you wanna go get something to eat? Like, he like, nah, I'm not even really hungry. He like, but I don't want to sit right here and kick it. Like, we could go kick it in this parking lot. It's cool. Mind you, it's 10 o'clock at night. He want to kick it in the parking lot in Inglewood. That was already just weird to me because I'm just like, whatever. But he's like, yeah, the parking lot is cool. Trust me, trust me. So I'm thinking, okay, this his where he have people go. He kick it in this parking lot. This his parking lot. So we go kick it in the parking lot for a little while. We just talking and stuff like that. But mind you, at this point, I'm starting, it was like, we was probably kicking that parking lot for like an hour. And at this point, I'm getting hungry. I could tell he's hungry because I could hear his stomach growling and stuff. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to McDonald's and get me something to eat because it's like 11-ish. So ain't nothing else really open. So I go to McDonald's. When we get there, I'm like, you want something to eat? No, I'm like, you gonna get something? He like, you already know what time it is when people start patting their body and stuff. You're like, bro, you know you ain't got no money. Just say that. So he like, oh man, I left my wallet in the house. Big smile though, happy. So I'm like, oh no, it's fine. I'll get it. Like, you know, like it's fine. And he like, okay, like, yeah. So at this point, mind you, he claimed you left your wallet and you wasn't really even hungry. You was about to starve. Mind you, I get the same little simple little shit, whatever. This man got a meal. He replaced the drink for a shake, got a cookie, an apple pie. He probably got an extra drink. Who knows? He got all this fucking food and I'm just sitting there like, I didn't mind either way because it's not like it's like $100 meal or whatever. But I'm just thinking like, you was gonna starve, now you just like getting the whole everything. So I'm just like, whatever. I wasn't tripping off that, but whatever. So he gets food. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna go home. Like, you want me to take you back? I'm driving back towards his auntie house. He like, oh, no, I can't go back over there. I'm like, why? Then all of a sudden he's mad. Mind you, when he got in the car, he had the biggest smile on his face. He was not mad. So he's like, I can't go back over there because some weird shit happened. Like, my uncle just got out of jail and he did some weird shit to my little cousin, and her mama not doing shit about it, and I gotta protect her. I gotta be there for her, you know. So it's just a lot of weird shit, and I had to do some crazy shit. So I can't even go back over there. It's bad. So I'm like, oh wow, like that's crazy. Oh wow, you know, I'm thinking, I believe his story, you know, because I give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes. So I believe the story, but I'm just thinking like, I hope he ain't about to ask if he come with me, because that's out. So I'm like, wow, you know, you give people that long wow so they could figure out what they finna ask you, because it ain't, you know. So he like, yeah, but my grandma said I could come stay at her house. He's like, because I told her everything. He's like, but my grandma lived far as hell and I don't want to put you out of your way. And I'm like thinking to myself like, damn, if you knew this, why we didn't go kick it in the parking lot wherever the hell your grandma live at? Like, so I'm thinking, he said far as hell, I'm thinking his grandma probably live in Palm Springs or some shit. So I'm like, where your grandma live at? He's like, my grandma live in Carson. Mind you, we are in Inglewood. How is this far? How is that far? It's like, what, 15 minutes on the freeway? How is that far? I'm like, that's not far. That's right up the street. I could take you to your grandma's house. He like, oh, for real? I'm like, it's literally like 15 minutes away. It's no traffic. It's 11 o'clock-ish at night. It's no traffic. Like, it's not going to take me no time to get to your grandma's house. So he like, oh, okay, cool. So mind you, we get to the grandma's house. Before he get out the car at the grandma's house, he did the most fucking bummish shit ever. So he's like, oh no, but before we get to the grandma's house, he asked me like, can I stop in by the store so he could get some blunts or whatever. So he stopped. So mind you, only time they really don't ID you is if you like at hood stores. If you at stores in certain areas, of course they're gonna ID you, especially how young he looked. So he didn't even ask me to go in and get it. Like, supposedly you left your wallet, but yet you have an ID to go get some blunts. Like, I'm just like, whatever. Like, so we get to the grandma house, and when we get there, oh, and mind you, he asked me for $2 to get the blunts. So yeah, when we get to the grandma house, he's just sitting there like at the car. He like, before he got out the car, he's like smiling at me and stuff like that. So I'm smiling back. I'm thinking like, oh, you wanna kiss me? Like, no. You know what this man asked me? He gonna say, you know, I left my wallet at my auntie house. Can I have a change in your cup holder just so I don't be out here with nothing? Bro, my cup holder had like $1 and some change in there. I'm confused. I'm thinking like either this nigga is just good, like you know how to flip a coin and make some bands, because how the hell you finna flip $1 and like 50 cents and be good? Like, if you knew. And I'm just like, that could have been a red flag, but you know, of course me, I didn't say none of this. I'm just like, oh yeah, go ahead, like I'm not tripping, go ahead, take the change, you know, take the change, like you good. He like, all right, thank you, I really appreciate it, I really appreciate you. So that should have been a red flag too, because it's like, if you supposedly left your money when you first got in my car, you had the biggest smile on your face. I couldn't tell that something was wrong with you. One. Two, if you left your wallet, we was not far from your auntie house before we came over here. You could have at least went back and got your wallet. Like, that's weird that you would just be like, oh, I'm gonna just leave it and say fuck it and be walking around now with $1.50 in my pocket. Like, make it make sense. So y'all, so he hit me up the next day, like, you know, good morning and stuff like that. And I'm just like, good morning, you know, we chit-chatting, whatever. He like, I want to see you later. So I'm like, okay, cool, just hit me, just let me know. So he hit me, like, it was later on or whatever, not too late in the day, it wasn't nighttime at this time. So he hit me up and he was just like, hey, can you meet me, I'm with my homie right now, but can you meet me or whatever, and can you do me a big favor? So I'm like, all right, whatever. He like, he take me by my dad's house because some shit happened at my grandma's house and I can't be there no more. And I'm just like, some shit is always happening with this man. But anyway, so I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I end up meeting him. He told me, like, supposedly his other uncle got out and is living at his grandma's house, and he renting the house like cell block D or some shit. And yeah, he ain't feeling it. He like, yeah, so it's just crazy over there. But mind you, when I picked him up, he was at his grandma's house last night, but when I picked him up, he stunk so bad, y'all. Like, he smelled so bad. Like, he smelled like he ain't showered in days. But mind you, just last night he didn't smell like that. So I'm thinking like, what, your uncle wrestle you in the backyard in the dirt or something? I don't know, it just was crazy. So yeah, so we go or whatever to his dad. I take him to his dad's house or whatever, because he like, yeah, he telling me at this point, he like, yeah, in 2 weeks I'm gonna move to Vegas. My homie got this money plot for me and it's just gonna work. My life is gonna be so much better, and you know, things gonna be better for me, blah blah blah. He's like, but my dad told me I could stay with him for a while. I can stay with him for a while, you know, until I go. And he about to buy me my bus ticket or whatever. So he like, you take me by there. So we get there and then he's like, stay outside. So when I stayed outside or whatever, he ended up coming back and he smelled way better and changed his clothes. So I guess he went in there and took a shower. But at this point, he telling me, man, I gotta go, I can't stay here. He like, I can't stay here because my dad be trying to run my life and shit and trying to get at me crazy, and it ain't gonna work. I'm just thinking at this point, bro, you're the problem, because why is it that you having issues with everybody? Like, you're staying in somebody's house, like, you need to just chill, shut the fuck up. But anyway, I didn't say that. So he like, my homie that live in Inglewood is gonna let me stay with him. So I'm like, all right. He like, you take me over there, like we could kick it over there too. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we get to this house in Inglewood or whatever, not too far from the auntie house. So we get to the house in Inglewood, and when we get there, he's like, oh, I'm about to politic with the homies, so you could stay right here. So he had me sit in the living room. I'm sitting in the living room. I'm in the living room watching TV with this girl, this random lady or whatever. And mind you, before he went downstairs, because it was like a basement in the house, before he went to the basement, he asked me for $5 because he said he needed $5 to pay for something or something like that. Which I was confused at, what the hell you finna buy for $5 that's gonna change your whole life. But again, I'm thinking, hey, this man made magic out of $1.50 the other night. He might make a lot of money with this $5. So I give him the $5, boom. So I'm sitting there, whatever, with this girl. Time go by. It's like a lot of time go by. I'm kind of irritated because I'm just thinking, like, why am I here? Like, I could have just dropped you off and went about my life. Like, we're not even hanging out. So this other girl walks in. You could tell she just got off work or something like that. So she just walks in and she's looking at me and looking at the other girl. Like, the other girl lived there, but she look at me and then she like, why are you here? And I'm like, excuse me, because I don't even know this girl. So I'm like, excuse me. She's like, why are you here? I'm like, oh, I'm here with Pathetic. Like, she's like, I know, but why are you here? Like, why are you sitting right here? I'm like, oh, he's downstairs doing something. Like, he told me to stay right here or whatever. And she was just like, oh, that's weird. So then she's like, sat there, and the next thing you know, she's like texting. At this point, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm annoyed. So I text Pathetic like, hey, I'm ready. I'm about to bounce. So Pathetic ended up coming up there, and he like, what's going on? Like, and I was just like, nothing. Like, you know, like, I'm about to go. and the girl looking at him crazy. So he like, hold on real quick. So him and the girl, they end up leaving out the room, going somewhere else, but you could kind of hear them arguing, but I couldn't really make out what they were saying. So they go or whatever. So after they gone for like a cool 5-10 minutes, he ended up coming back and he like, oh, I'm gonna walk you out. So before he walked me out, mind you, Pathetic hit me up for $20. So and guess who dumbass gave him the $20? Me, because I'm just thinking like, Pathetic is having a hard life right now, and I'm just gonna be nice, like, you know, because we vibe, we cool, whatever. But so I give Pathetic the $20. He walked me out, I leave. Boom. At this point, we was still chit-chatting and stuff, but I didn't see him for like a few days. And then when he did finally hit me up, he was just like needed a ride. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, I see what type of situation this is. Pathetic like clearly just using me for a ride and my spare change. Like Pathetic is clearly using me for a ride and spare change. So Pathetic ended up telling me like, oh yeah, I can't stay at the, he's like, I haven't been trying to see you just because I've been having a lot going on in my life, and I ain't been wanting to just put you in that situation no more. I ain't been staying at my homie house because I couldn't stay there no more, blah, 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 blah. Boom, boom, boom. You know, so, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, what happened? Like, he like, just a lot going on, whatever. But my mom, guess what he said? My mom said I could stay with her because she doesn't want her baby boy just out there like that in the streets. And I'm just like thinking like, Pathetic, before you met me, before I gave you a ride, who the fuck was you living with? Oh, supposedly his auntie, right, y'all? So anyway, so I ended up giving Pathetic a ride to the mama house on the east side. This was actually his mama. So when we got there, Pathetic is like, we just talking, chilling, vibing in the car, whatever. He just telling me about his dreams in Vegas and how I should come, all this other stuff. But I'm just like, nah, I'm cool. I'm not about to come to Vegas and house hop with you. Plus, like, you're not my, we don't have no type of title, nothing like that. You're not my boyfriend. But after me giving you $25, like, well, $26.50, I felt like we got some type of connection, but not enough for me to move to Vegas. So boom. So anyway, skip that. So after that, I seen Pathetic. It was cool. Like, that night was cool. We had a heart-to-heart. He told me about his life, childhood. It was a cool night, right? So the next day, Pathetic ended up hitting me up like, I really appreciate you, Simone, so much. Like, you're really the best, babe, and you're gonna be my wife, and I'm gonna really give you the world one day. All this bullshit, right? Pathetic ended up posting a picture on Instagram. It's crazy because he kept telling me like something like, don't try to hide me or some weird shit like that. So he ended up posting a picture on Instagram, and since he was telling me all this shit about how like, why I never told nobody we talk or nothing like that, I like, okay, I went and comment hard eyes under the picture, right? I comment hard eyes under the picture. Some girl commented back to me and was all like, bitch, who are you? No, she was like, yeah, she was like, bitch, who are you? And I'm just like, what? Like, I'm not about to argue with this bitch for one. Like, you know, so I was like, what? I put crying laughing faces. So at this point, she was like, you're a weird bitch and leave my nigga alone. Matter of fact, since you want to play with him, she was all like, let his homeless ass come live with you then and stop living at my auntie house. And I was just like, what? So mind you, the page was private. At this point, I'm just like, bitch, you're weird, like, blah, 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 blah. We're going back and forth on his comments, right? He's not saying nothing, but I'm hitting him up like, who is this girl? Like, what the fuck is going on? So he's not saying nothing at all, but he's texting me like, you're weird. Like, he's telling me I'm weird because I'm going back and forth with her. But I'm like, she said something to me. Like, it's just weird, but he's not saying it on Instagram. So the girl ended up making her page private. I go to the page. Guess why the girl is the same girl from the house that night that came in there asking me why I was there. It was the same girl. So I'm like, what the fuck? So at this point, I hear him. I'm like, you're weird as fuck. Why would you? I'm like, so, because she's telling me all this stuff about how that's her boyfriend. They've been together all this time. They've been living together. He's been living at her auntie house. He homeless. All this stuff. So on his picture, right? And I'm just like, so I hit him up like, you're weird as fuck. Like, why would you take me around your girlfriend? Like, you had a girlfriend this whole time and you gonna take me around your girlfriend. I guess he told her like I was the homegirl giving him a ride or some shit like that. I don't know what he told her. I don't know. But he told her some shit like, so I'm not even knowing this whole time this girl's his girlfriend. So the first house, the auntie house that he was sneaking through windows and shit, was never his auntie's house. That was her auntie's house. And I guess she used to sneak him in or something, and her auntie didn't know like he would spend the night, so that's why he went through the window. I guess her people, like whoever running the trap house in and out the house, they didn't care, but the actual auntie, the owner of the home, didn't know. So that's why he went through the window. Bro, that's why that day, so the night, it all made sense to me. That's why that night when he came with the hoodie on, he came like that because he probably told her like he finna go do some shit, and the whole time he, you know. So I'm just start putting two and two together, like, what the fuck? Like, this is so weird. And she was just like, when we both had nowhere to go, like it was homeless, I begged my auntie to let us come stay there. And I guess the second house we was at was like some more of her people house or whatever, and that's why he had me, really, he wasn't even staying there. She was just gonna pick him up from there, so that's why he had me drop her off. He just didn't know she was gonna come back that soon, I guess. And I was just like, wow. So I'm like, at this point, I'm not even finna get into it with this girl no more. I'm like, you know, you good. You could keep that bum ass nigga. Like, I'm not finna be trying to talk to no nigga who need change out of my cup holder. No way. Like, y'all both where y'all could have each other. Y'all could both be a homeless couple together. That's on y'all, you know? At this point, he coming back because at this point, he coming back because I was like, you cool. I'm not about to argue with no bitch over no bum ass nigga. Like, you know? And so at this point, he was all like, you a weird bitch, talking to me. He was like, you're a weird ass bitch and all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. He was all like, you trying to beg. He's like, you really trying to beg a nigga thinking he finna leave his bitch for you. I said, what? Like, mind you, at this point, I'm just like, beg you, bro. You call me for rides. Like, you's taking, so I'm like, bro, you hit me up for rides. I'm like, clearly, yeah, I see now it was like a using situation because you had no rides or whatever. But I said, at the same time, you're stealing change out, taking change out of my cup holder, talking about some, so you don't just be out in the streets broke. Like, bro, you're a whole bum. Like, you're a bum. So like, I'm just really mad at this point. So now they coming back and forth to each other, and she like, LOL, I love you, baby. Yeah, tell these hoes. And he like, yeah, babe, I tell these hoes, and they ain't never gonna take your place. And I'm just like, what the, like, y'all is weird. Now it's all LOL and stuff, and they just comment. So at this point, I'm not even commenting back no more. I followed him, whatever, but his page was in private, but they still just tagging me. They talking to each other but tagging me so I could see it. And at this point, he's texting me and he's just like, she's crazy, I don't know what's going on, and this is not me on my Instagram. Yeah, and I look like Boo Boo the motherfucking fool. So I'm just like, bro, whatever. Like, you're weird. And then when I find, and I'm just like, how's that not you on your Instagram, but you just text me and call me a weird bitch? And then went on Instagram and called me a weird bitch, bro. That is you. I'm a weird bitch supposedly to you, but you're a bum. So I'm just like, whatever. At this point, next thing you know, I don't know what happened, because she was all like, oh, something. She was like, they started talking about having babies and all this other weird shit. Like, this conversation went totally fucking left on his comments. And sometimes I'll just be looking at it like, these people is crazy as hell. Like, y'all are weird. Talking about some, yeah, daddy, when you I'm gonna get pregnant, I'm gonna have your baby, we gonna do this. And he like, yeah, baby, you wifey for like. The conversation was just weird as shit. Like, they could have been texting each other this. I don't know why they was having this whole conversation on his picture. So I don't know, something she said, it was something she said. Next thing you know, he was like, y'all both some weird ass bitches, leave me the fuck alone. I was like, mind you, I ain't even talking no more to them. Like, it was weird. Like, man, it's just crazy. After that situation, I was like, I will never be so nice to people. He ended up moving to Vegas, and like, I had blocked him on Instagram, but then I ended up making a new Instagram later, and he tried to like be cool, but I was ignoring him, so he ended up blocking me. But it was just crazy because, and I had never seen him in person again after that. Like, I never seen him again. I ended up telling people like, yo, because people would see in the comments, and they was telling me like, what the fuck? Like, nobody even knew he was talking to him. Like, we could have told you that he was weird. Like, we could have told you that. And I'm just like, dang, now that goes to I should have at least told my homegirls. They probably would have been like, bro, he's a weirdo. It was just crazy because it's like, after that, I was like, being nice to somebody is out. Like, I can't see myself just really just extending the hand trying to be nice, because it was like, it was so many red flags. And already, bro, I don't fuck with bum niggas, and I should have just said that, but I was just being so nice and just understanding this person's situation, even though it made no fucking sense. And at the end of the day, I'm the weird bitch. Bro, you're the weird bitch. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just crazy. It was crazy, y'all. It's crazy because I really was just going through my old photos, archiving photos on my Instagram, and it was a video of me and my homegirl, and it was the video from the day that he got in the car and smoked, and you could see him in the background. I'm not even gonna post that video because I don't know. I'm not even gonna post that video because then people would know who Pathetic is. And if he watched it, I could care less. He would know this is about him. I could care less. But yeah, it was just so crazy. And that's what made me think about it. And I was just like, I gotta do a story time on this because that situation was so weird. So anyway, yeah, that's it. That's how it came. He was a bum, y'all. So ladies, don't try to be too nice to these bums, like, please. I understand at that age, you know, people don't have their whole life figured out, and that's why I gave bum Pathetic the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, shame on me because I should have realized what was going on. But yeah, that's the end of the story. Make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not already doing so, and give your girl a thumbs up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.